So thank you, Blair and David and Lonnie and Jennifer and Ron and John and Dee. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Faith Rivera, Karen Brucker, and David Roth. David Roth. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the sweetness of it. I love the clarity of it. I love the focus of it. So thank you, thank you. And now we're going to focus. Are you ready to be free?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and we're going to do our treatment for freedom together aloud. I speak my word for myself, my center, and all its members and friends. I know love as the only reality. I am created out of love. Love is what I am. I know this love as absolute freedom in every area of my life, the life of my center, and all who call it home. I know our center's mortgages are paid in full, and I claim for all of us financial freedom with all debts paid and cleared. I release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We experience freedom in every moment by always having more than enough money, vibrant health, and loving relationships. We are who we have come here to be. With hearts open wide, we see the world through the eyes of love. We are blessed, we are rich, and we are free. And so it is. And we use our points of power. I always pay attention. I always tell the truth and tell it quickly. I always ask for what I want when I want it. I always take total responsibility for my experience. I always keep my agreements. And so it is. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Planting seeds of thought. What we grow is not a bean, it's a world. Because when we plant seeds of thought, we get the harvest of what we have planted. I love this time of year. You may not know this about me, but I love being a mile away from the Western North Carolina farmers market. I love looking at the produce. Sometimes I'll just drive through and just look at the pumpkins everywhere and the corn, and in the middle of the summer they've got squash and tomatoes and peppers and all of these things, and even in the winter they've got citrus everywhere. I love going through that because I love to see the bounty of the harvest. And that probably has something to do with just growing up flat out hungry, that I admire produce. It drives John crazy. I'll go to the farmer's market and buy a bunch of it and I'll stack it in my kitchen and look at it. I don't really cook. I guess it just kind of rots there, but I think it's beautiful. I think it is just beautiful. A beautiful kind of striped eggplant. It's gorgeous. It kind of looks like my top a little bit. I think it's just beautiful to look at the harvest. But when I look at the harvest, I cannot ignore the fact that a lot of work went into creating all of that at the farmer's market ready to sell. There was planning, there was purchasing, there was some kind of probably heavy equipment going on, and hydraulics and loud noises, tilling the soil, removing the rocks, putting in nutrition, planting the seeds, and then making sure that nothing just came and took the seeds out, whether it be weeds or deer or bugs or whatever. There was that attention to the seeds so that they could grow all the way. For those of you who have a garden or have ever gardened, you know that it is no small task. You get February, you get the seed catalogs. You know, they're just targeting you. Seeds of change. Oh yes, I want to be seeds of change. I want to have that. Ooh, look at this new heirloom they just found. Or look at this tomato that's gonna go from the seed to my table in 3 days. Wow, I want that. And I remember sitting by the wood stove and flipping through my catalogs and filling it. This was before the internet and the ease of ordering. I would pencil in my orders on the order form and write a check and mail it in and get my seeds, start little tomato seedlings in the basement under grow lights, trying to get a head start on it all. I was so excited. And then there would come July, where, oh my gosh, I blinked and the weeds are this high out there and I have to do something. The last garden I had was an acre. Take that in for a moment. I had an entire section that I planted on the full moon in the middle of the night, and then I roped it off. It was all native heirloom. I did the whole corn, squash, beans, fish thing, and smudging and chanting and running my Troy-Bilt tiller, doing all of that. Spent all night out there, and then I roped it off and left it alone. But the rest of the garden grew weeds, and it was an organic garden, so it got bugs, and there was a lot of effort to it. When I planted those seeds, I wasn't done. It's really important to plant the seeds, and it's important to think about the seeds that you plant. But once you plant the seeds, you're not done, not by a long shot, if you want to bring forth the harvest. Now, the flip side of that is if you're planting seeds that you don't want, that you decided you didn't want, no worries, just ignore them. Ignore them and they'll either die or they'll grow and you can get rid of them. That's kind of like our life. We don't garden on the outside. We garden on the inside. We plant the seeds of thought. That is the basic activity that we do in the science of mind, the basic. That was a walnut dropping on our metal roof, showing the abundance of life. We have apples out there, we've got walnuts everywhere. So the basic concept of science of mind is oneness. That there's only one thing going on, that you and I are spirit and form. We are God beings. There is the manifestation of that infinite love and light, prosperity, health, wholeness, and you and I are it. And why are we here on planet Earth? My guess is to experience and express more fully. Whatever that could be, no matter how happy you are, your job as a spiritual being is to be happier. No matter how prosperous you are, your job as a spiritual being is to be more prosperous, to be healthier, to be more in your joy. That's your job, to expand, to evolve. Not only the human race, but all of life. That's your job. So what is your job on planet Earth? To be happier than ever, to be healthier, to be more prosperous than I ever dreamed possible. I am doing my spiritual work. Tell all of your friends that. The concept is oneness, the activity is thought, setting spiritual law in motion. And when we plant seeds of thought, we get a harvest. I have quotes for you. I get all revved up. In Creative Mind, Ernest Holmes' very first book that he ever wrote, he says, so plastic is mind, so receptive that the slightest thought makes an impression upon it. People who think many kinds of thought must expect to receive a confused manifestation in their lives. If a gardener plants 1,000 kinds of seeds, he will get 1,000 kinds of plants. It is the same in mind. I'll go ahead and read these because I'm not going to get back there. Jack Kornfield said, the heart is like a garden. It can grow compassion or fear, resentment or love. What seeds will you plant? And then Robert Louis Stevenson, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Because even if you are reaping a fantastic harvest, it's from last year's planting. Even as you're harvesting what you've planting, you're thinking forward to what am I going to plant again? And what am I going to plant again? And what am I going to plant again? Because it is the thoughts that we plant that grow our lives. And then we get this experience. One of the things that I love about this teaching is that it's not outside of us, it's always inside of us. It's not about politics or the economy or your job or your boss or your bank account. It's not about your inherited tendencies, genetics, none of that. It's all about what seeds are we planting. They have found out that if you think thoughts, it affects your body. And if you believe that genetics determines something, you grow that. They've taken children that have been adopted into a family that have no genetic connection, except they didn't know they were adopted and they thought they were genetically predisposed to this, so they were. And then they've taken other children who were adopted who came from a family that had a lot of those genetic predispositions, but they didn't know that and they weren't. They didn't get it. It's all about our thought. And they're finding that in hard, fast substance of studies and communication, and even the medical field is coming up with these things about it's your attitude toward the chemotherapy that will determine whether or not the chemotherapy works. What? What? This is a doctor with a white coat saying this? If you believe the chemotherapy will help you, then it will. If you don't, it won't. Well, maybe we can just take the belief and forget the chemotherapy. So what we do is plant seeds of thought. And it's really important for us to become mindful of what seeds we are planting. I love what you said, Steve, about hidden beliefs. We're doing a whole thing on hidden beliefs in class. We did a whole thing last week. We're going to do a whole thing this week. It doesn't matter if you're aware of the thoughts that you're planting. They can be subconscious thoughts. They can be thoughts that you picked up from your childhood or your parents or the world at large that says, no, you can't, it'll never happen, it's impossible. We do the impossible here. We have miracles become typicals here. We create our lives because we plant the seeds of thought. But I want you to know, it's not just one planting. It's not just one planting. You are constantly planting seeds of thought. Why do you think that we do that treatment for freedom? Every week. I do it every day, at least once a day. I do it over and over and over and over again because I'm planting seeds of thought. I want everybody involved in this center to be debt-free. That doesn't mean that you don't have mortgages. That's fine. It's just the center's mortgage we're paying off. You can pay yours off if you want, but you don't have to. But you are debt-free. You're not carrying a burden where you're going to be paying for 50 years on something that happened a decade ago. That's not our paradigm. I want every one of us to be open, to be healthy, to be prosperous, to be in our joy. I want to release any sense of struggle or wrongdoing. We do that by planting the seed over and 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 over again until I can stand up here and burn the mortgage. Yes. So people who are saying, well, when are you going to stop saying that? I'm not going to stop saying it until I can hold it in my hand, because I know that if I plant it, it will grow. And so my job is to plant it and bring all of you along. That is what I do. I bring us all along so that everybody in this center has a life that gets better and better and better. And then we get to where just everything coming out of our mouth is a seed that we want to harvest. Everything is great. Everything is wonderful. I am blessed. I am so loved by the universe that whatever it is I focus on shows up in my life. Those are the words that come out of our experience. And you may have found if you go around here, someone might either correct you, which is probably the most kind thing to do, or challenge you on that. Now, we have a mixture of people, so who knows what you're going to get. Whatever you get is a reflection of your consciousness. Do you want to live that? Is that really what you want to create? Is that really what you want to plant right now? Don't you know who you are? You are God in form. You have everything. In the world of infiniteness, you already have everything. You're already standing at the buffet of life. What do you want? What do you want? You just get to pick and choose by what you think. And as you said, Steve, change your thinking, change your life is not as easy as it sounds. But it is critical. Because as you plant the seeds of thought, you grow your world. You grow your world. You grow your life. It's not so much what you're harvesting today. That's great. But what are you planting for tomorrow? What kind of a world do you continue to grow? Abraham Hicks says that whatever your experience is today, it's old news. It was a creation of a past thought. What are you creating now? Where are you going? You're like Johnny Appleseed, going through the country just throwing seeds. And some people may say, well, I just really want to plant one special seed. No, plant millions of seeds. Throw them out there. Plant your goodness everywhere. See the good in everybody. Lift everyone up. Claim your good. You are a divine being, a manifestation of God itself. You have a right to live the good life. Plant the seeds. I am your seed catalog. I'm saying, look at what I've got for you. I've got health. I've got wholeness. I've got love. I've got joy. Plant it. Take care of it. And then watch what you get. Don't get confused. People say, I'm so confused. No, you're not. You're very clearly choosing not to do anything, and you're hiding behind confusion. Did you hear what she said to me? Yes. If you want to play the game of confusion and plan, well, I'm going to choose to be happy. What that dirty, rotten rack and fretchin'. Okay, I'm going to choose to be healthy. Oh, but I feel terrible. Don't do that. You're going to get a mess. Pick something. Stay with it. See God in everybody. Everybody is this amazing being of light and love. Everything is a manifestation for your good. It is yours for the taking. My God, we went through puberty. Really, we've already paid our dues. We're here. It is the time of harvest. Whatever you're harvesting in your life, you planted. If you want a different harvest, plant a different seed. It's not about getting another job or doing something on the outside. It's always within you. Plant the seeds of thought that say, I am amazing, I am wonderful, I am God's own. I am a perfect being of love and light, and all is well. If something is a surprise, bless it. Put a blessing in it, watch the blessing come back out. If you put a curse in it, then what you're going to get is a curse. What are the seeds you're planting? Every thought that you think is going to grow. Really. So keep on planting. Plant the love, plant the light, plant the life, and especially in these times, plant peace. Yes. I love you very much.